Okay guys, for this video I thought I'd bring myself in front of the camera for a change. So here we go. Now we've dealt with the actual domain name so far. We know how to register a domain name. We know the rules behind getting the domain names. We know basically to go to GoDaddy, and we know how to change the DNS. And basically we've got everything sort of set up here now. So we have the domain name, and we have chosen a domain name server, and this is exactly where we're at now. Now, the next step is the world of servers. Now, all a server is, don't let it frighten you, is a piece of machinery, a computer, if you like, that basically sits in a controlled environment with special software that serves web pages out to the world, yeah? Now, basically, each server has got what they call an IP address, rather like a telephone number. An IP address, okay? Internet protocol, and that identifies which server any particular domain name resides on. So, for example, you could have billions of servers all over the world, but they've all got a unique IP address. So, the reason they've got a unique IP address is so that the internet, or the browsers such as Internet Explorer or Chrome and Firefox, can identify where the files are so they can show them to the general public. So what we've got to do is set up a server. Okay, now I recommend a company called Bluehost, and I'll be talking you through how to set all of that up in the next video. But I just wanted to step in at this stage of my training just to show myself, and just basically to tell you and summarize what's going to be happening next. Now, once we set up a little server for ourselves, we'll be given, okay, a domain name server name, okay? Now, for example, if you sign up with Bluehost, like I recommend, then their name servers, for example, would be ns1.bluehost.com, ns2.bluehost.com. That identifies the server where your website is going to be, okay? If you signed up with a company such as HostMonster, then it may well be that their domain name servers would be ns1.hostmonster.com, ns2.hostmonster.com, yeah? And that again would tell the browsers that your site files or your actual website is residing on that particular server. So all we do when we set up the actual domain name servers is literally, quite simply, tell the browsers where all your files are, yeah? If you've got another server, for example, in the UK, a well-known company, and I started with these back in 1990, is a company called FastHosts, okay? Now, they would have their own name servers, and there's other companies. Heart Internet is a big provider. They have got their own name servers, and all it's doing is telling the browsers where your website is. So when we sign up for a hosting package, we are given their name servers, and it's those name servers that we put into GoDaddy. We only do it once, and then from that point on, when the browsers come in, they know where to find our actual websites, okay? So it's like a little pinpoint map, basically, and that's all there is to it. There's no rocket science behind anything. People make it sound complicated, and it's really not. Buy the domain name, okay? We've got your server over here. We change the name server on the actual domain name so it points at the server that we bought. And that is literally it. All we need to do then is to actually install WordPress on our server over here, get it all up and running, and then literally upload files from our machine to the server. from our machine to the server, okay? And literally, when somebody then goes to http://goog-it.com, the browser knows exactly where my files are because we've changed the name servers to point at my server. My files have been uploaded to the server and it goes out to the world and the whole world can see it. And this is the concept why I wanted to come on screen this morning here and actually show myself, is because this is such an important concept and I could just talk about it all day. People just get so confused and they think that it's just, you know, reserved for the high-powered mathematicians and the geeks. And it's really not. You buy a domain name, you get yourself a cheap little server. Okay, you tell GoDaddy, hang on GoDaddy, my server is over here. So you tell GoDaddy or the domain registrar where you bought the domain name, where your server is. Okay, ns1.hostmonster.com for example. Simple as that. And all we do then is learn how to utilize the servers. Now, most servers will have WordPress on them by default. WordPress is just a program, okay? It's nothing more than a content management system. What you see is what you get editor. It just sits on the server and it allows us to build brilliant web pages, fully optimized for the search engines. It takes away what I call the gobbledygook, all the HTML coding and all of that nonsense, you know, the open bracket, HTML, close bracket, image source equals. You don't need any of that. It does it all for you. And we develop now our websites, okay, for whatever themes we decide on. Maybe we want our own businesses. Perhaps we are doing SEO for some large companies. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is we can get into the server, we can access WordPress, and we can start building the site, optimizing the site, using all the techniques of search engine optimization. And all we've been doing really in the first 4 or 5 lessons is starting at the beginning, but researching the domain name, buying the domain name, pointing the domain name at our server that we're renting from a company. It's only a few pound a month. I mean, you can spend £20–30 a month if you want, but ultimately it's very, very cheap. And you can host hundreds of domain names. So all your clients, you can register on your little server and you can charge them hosting fees. And slowly you can see that the huge enigma of the internet suddenly becomes very simple. You see, because it's all controlled by this little box, this little server. Okay, and there is nothing difficult about it. It's just grasping the domain, the server, the domain, the server, and how they fit together. Once you've managed to work that out, then the rest really is history. It's just about learning how to develop all kinds of wonderful stuff. I mean, when you've got your servers up and running, you can do lovely things, you know. You can create beautiful images for the public. You know, you can create scripts that are done for you, things like contact forms. You can install one-click JavaScript applications and stuff that you think is just impossible to do, and it's really not. You can install shopping carts linked to your PayPal accounts, but you can't do any of it until you've mastered the basics. And this is where I excel in my training, is getting the basics. Domain name, server. The server will do all the work for you and display your web page to the entire world. And getting to grips with this server is what I'm here to show you, and how to utilize it using lots and lots of different methods. Now, we are only dealing with my search engine optimization course at the moment, but the same principles apply when you do perhaps my domain name trading course, my affiliate marketing course, my site appreciation courses. which are all ways of making, a lot of money out there. And I do mean that. You can make an awful lot of legitimate money, but you've got to get the basics, domain, server, and develop your ideas from there. And it doesn't cost much to set these up, but it's the knowledge you need to actually make it all work, So don't think you're dealing with a science. All you need is some good ideas, okay? A little bit of courage, okay? A little bit of hard work, and you can unravel the mystery of everything you see out there. For goodness sake, I mean, within a few weeks, and I mean this, you can have your entire stock on the internet for sale on your server, linked to your PayPal account, selling like wildfire once you get traffic. It's not difficult, but what is difficult is getting a guy like me to teach it all to you in easy to understand language step by step. This is why I saw an opportunity for my videos out there, because there is so many little bits and pieces everywhere. I want to cut away the nonsense and just get it done simply. And you must have confidence in me that you really will do this. So the next part of the course now, we're going to start talking about WordPress, how to install it, how to get it working, how to build our first web page, and then we'll get into optimizing the site. We'll start talking about social media and advanced techniques. But ultimately, your site is going to rank on the front page of Google for any given keyword. If you can do it for yourself, well, why can't you make a business? Why can't you advertise your services to the world? It doesn't have to be the UK. And just tell companies, look, I can get you onto the front page of Google, because you will be able to. You will not be lying. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's have some courage. Let's stop worrying about anything and just remember the basics. Domain, server. Domain, server. And let's just get it done properly. So thanks for listening to this personal video. This is just to break the course up a little bit for you. And we're going to get back now to the screenshots, and we're going to start really getting into things deeper. So keep the chin up and let's go for it.